Good evening, Southeast Region Pacing Team. This is Teresa, and I'm so excited to be able to show you guys this screen. We had a lot of winners for the coaching call with my mentor, Rita Davenport, and you can see on the screen, they're from all over the place. It's so exciting to see so many things happening. We've got winners from Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia, North Carolina. It's just super exciting. And when you hear this coaching call, whew, you guys are going to be super excited. Now, and also we had 3 winners of that coveted Monat tote bag from our Summer Revolution Tour. Don McNear from Mississippi, Shelly Gent, and Julie Harrington. And I tell you, that is a coveted tote to have. And this month, you can win the tote. You personally do 3 plus 1. And have someone in your group who is in your GV also do 3 in 1, and you get a tote. Even if you've won a tote before, you can win another one. Then you can do your own promotion and give away the tote. So how cool is that, right? All right, tonight we're going to talk about onboarding. We're going to talk part 1. And we've talked about this before. Recruiting and sponsoring is used interchangeably in our business. But at Monat, we want to adopt a culture of walking alongside new market partners as they learn through your experience and then through applying what they learn from you in real-life situations. So you got to know that you are an important part of the equation. And look at this. Don't you love the fact that sponsoring is when you take responsibility for someone? Now, I've always told people when you first get in the business, the first 30 days is the sponsor's responsibility to make sure you understand everything, you get fast start bonuses, you get them onboarded and started right. After that, they should know what to do and come to you when they need you. But you're a very important part of that, and you should treat all new market partners like you would a baby. You take great care of babies, but once you fed those babies and those babies become adults, what do? They have to take responsibility, right? So being someone's sponsor indicates that you're basically going to be there to support them as long as they're in the business, which we hope is for a lifetime. Now, there are 2 parts of the business that you're going to walk your new market partners through, and that's business activity and business management. Now, you're going to move them into activity immediately so that they will have maximum time to earn those fast start bonuses. Tunnel vision focus on simple elements of business really helps maximize the time that they've allotted for business, such as less time researching, more time working on their personal business. And knowing every ingredient and every product will not earn them a fast start bonus. And we want to get money in their pockets sooner. And that's the absolute best way to build a strong belief. Now, the first 72 hours, when you first bring on board a brand new market partner, you need to ask them, why are you doing this, and how much money do you need to make? Okay? You want to work on their contact list, teach them how to invite, and set up a time for their business launch. Some people call it a grand opening, a ribbon cutting, and of course, from now until March the 12th, everybody should have a launch, whether it's a relaunch or a new launch, because there's lots of fun prizes in store for you when you do. Now let's talk about the why. Why is someone's why so important? Friedrich says it this way: he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. Your why is the driving force behind every single thing that you do. It's your purpose for making certain decisions, and this includes deciding to do things that could be outside of your comfort zone. But remember, you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And sometimes you have to be bad before you're good, right? So you must have a big enough why so that when obstacles do come up, and they will, the only choice that you have is you're just going to go around it or go through it or go over it. So I've always told all of you, and you've probably heard me say this before, your why should be strong enough that your try will be long enough. And your why should make you cry. When someone shares their why with you and they get misty-eyed, that's a powerful why. And you want to start your first training call with getting to know them and getting to know their purpose behind why are they doing this business. Now, many are going to say, oh, well, I just need to make some extra money. So you're going to have to dig a little deeper to find out, what's the money for? Is it to pay off debt, to put their kids in private school? Is it to take care of elderly parents? Do they need to buy a home? Whatever it is. but the why can't be just about the money. So remember, the why should be strong enough to make them get out of bed ready to do something toward building their business every single day. The why is the most powerful thing. And you need to know the why of every single market partner that you bring into this business. Now, to help your new market partner get to the root of their why, just ask them to fill in the blank on this first question. Monat is the vehicle. Monat is my vehicle to earn income needed so that I can have, do, or be what? Have them fill that out. And then a good follow-up to that question will help you determine what activity is going to be necessary to help them make this a reality. So simply ask them, how much money do you need to make in order for this to be worth your while? And keep in mind that if your new market partner joined Monat for personal use, to get the deal, then it may be a little challenging for them to dream a little with this business because they are essentially getting everything they joined for, which is the discount. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time there, and I would discourage people from signing to get the deal, because if someone just wants to sign up for the product, I would really encourage them to go the route of being a VIP customer, because they can get their products free. That's an even better deal if they just lead you to 3 more customers, okay? So encourage them and make sure they understand how all that works. Now, your contact list, let's talk about that for a second. It is intended to be a living, breathing document that you work from every time you go to work in your business. It's a place where you initially brainstorm all the names that you can think of, and then later you're just going to kind of sort through those names. It will shorten the sales cycle by knowing exactly what you offer to everybody, which should always be you offer the business first. It'll tell you where you left the conversation and when you'll be following up next. When I was in the field, I would even write down people on my contact list. I would write down the names of their kids, if they mentioned a birthday, whatever. I wanted as much information on everybody as I could get. And then a healthy contact list is added to every day. Now, you know what that does? That alleviates the SPD. Who remembers from our business wheel what SPD stands for? Slow, painful death. Yes, several of you know. That's always good to know, so everybody's listening. Now, if you always are adding to your list, you will not one day say, oh my gosh, I've run out of people to talk to. That should never, ever happen. Now, the contact list can be found in the back office under the resource library. There's also training on contacts specifically under, you go to training and then you go to business training. So who goes on this list? Let's talk about exactly who should be going on this list. Well, first you want to start with your phone contacts, and these are going to be your closest friends and family, and no judging. Don't ever go, oh, I think they've got bad hair, they need Monat, or oh my gosh, their hair's fabulous, I need to talk about the product. No, you always lead with the business, okay? It doesn't matter who they are, because everyone deserves to know about this business, even your crotchety old aunt. I mean, she may not be a fit, but you know what? She may have friends or children of friends who are. And then also, who are your neighbors? Who are your coworkers? What about your spouses or your roommates, coworkers, or friends that you're acquaintances with? Think also about the people who service you. You know, it could be your bank teller, the woman that you take your dry cleaners to, could be your favorite barista at Starbucks. And you know, my philosophy was always, if I do business with you, then you should do business with me, right? And your goal is to get at least 100 names on the list. Now, I wouldn't tell them you need to come up with a list of 100 names, because that'll completely freak them out. But just work with them and tell them how to do the list, okay? That's really, really important. Your Facebook friends, you know, write down the names of every person that you've recently liked something they posted. If they posted or commented on something that you posted, that's who you want to write down, because you know they follow you and they're watching you. And, you know, don't censor yourself here either. Even if you don't know them very well, put their name on the contact list anyway. Now, the next step involves a little bit of vision. Have them imagine surrounding themselves with a group of friends that they'd love to spend more time with, or that they know would be fun to collaborate with on business. These are going to be people that they have relationships with, that they genuinely like. Now, the idea here is to get them thinking about sponsoring right away, Because remember, we want to get them earning money right away, okay? Now, it's natural to want to test the waters of the business by selling some shampoo. But you know what? That's not going to get them a fast start bonus. And it's going to discourage them, and it's going to make the people that they're talking to think, okay, so if I did get into this, I'm going to have to sell shampoo. So we want them to practice offering the business to the people they trust and people who know, like, and trust them, who would be willing to take a look, provide some feedback, and possibly even join their team. So have them go back to that initial contact list and then highlight or write down people that they would love to have on their dream team. I used to tell people, put an A beside of everybody that would be on your A team. Put a B by the people that would be on your B team. You know, so you come up with your own method for keeping up with that and have fun with it, okay? Everything should be fun. Now, the invitation is nothing more than asking someone to take a look at something that may not be a fit for them. Your only job is to ask. It's not to present. It's not to make that judgment call as to whether or not it's something of interest to them or not. You need to let them decide. If they aren't interested in the business, then ask them to be your customer. Now, there's two schools of thought on inviting. I'll break both down, and my suggestion is you choose what works best for you, for your personality, or for your situation. And there's the effective approach, or the you plus a story plus an open-ended question. Now, here's the you plus a story plus an open-ended question. The first school of thought here is just leading with you and not I. You know, you've been on my mind. I've been thinking about you. You're someone who's always encouraged me. Now, this could be a little bit more difficult to do if you haven't spoken with them in months or years, but can certainly be effective if you talk to them often and you have a great relationship. Now, then there's some examples of stories. Again, the story is anything related to what you know about them, their lifestyle, their family, anything that's a potential need that Monat might possibly feel. Now, this too may be more difficult if you don't know them very well. Just let me put this together and give you an example of what it might sound like. You've been on my mind ever since you told me about your financial struggles. What are your thoughts on taking a look at the business to see if it could help you with that? Or I've been thinking about you and your ability to network so easily with people. What are your thoughts on taking a look at what I do? Or, you know, you're someone who's always encouraged me to step out of my comfort zone, so I did. So what do you think about taking a look at the business with me? I don't have any idea what I'm doing yet, but it'd be fun to learn together, right? So that's a way that you could invite people to take a look. Now, my personal favorite is the effective approach, but I got to tell you, it's only effective if you make it fit your personality and you're comfortable with it. But the most important thing is to hit the key points and keep it brief so that it duplicates. And the key points are an introduction. When you call, say, hey, do you have a minute? Right? So it's all about them in the very beginning. Do you have a minute? Tell them why you're calling. You know, share your why. You know, I don't know if you realize this or not, but my husband and I have been, you know, talking about me quitting my job so I can stay home and raise the baby, or whatever your why is, right? Because the reason people buy people want to genuinely want to help people. And the reason people buy so many Girl Scout cookies is because they want to help the Girl Scouts, right? And also because that little Girl Scout asked them to buy cookies. Nobody goes to Kroger or to the grocery store of any kind looking for Girl Scout cookies, right? They only buy them because they ask them. And I've got some people asking me would I like to buy some Girl Scout cookies right now. All right, and then ask them to do you a favor. Could you do me a favor and take a look at what I've gotten involved in and give me your honest opinion about it? You know, it may or may not be a fit for you, but I really appreciate your opinion, and I promise I will never mention it again if you're not interested. And then just ask for referrals if they're not interested, or ask them to be your customer. And that's when, you know, the most important thing is to just hit those key points. And if you make a call to a prospect and it takes 30 minutes to invite them to your launch, then they're going to think they don't have time to do this business. So what you've got to do is you've got to follow that KISS technique, which is keep it super simple. Now, your only goal in making that phone call to someone is to set an appointment for them to see the business. Your goal is not to ask them to join your business, not to sell them anything, not to explain all the details about the business or the product. Your only goal is to get them to agree to take a look at the business. And the verbiage for the effective approach is in your back office under resources. And if you find it to be overwhelming, because it's like when you pull it out, it's 3 pages, You don't have to say everything in there. That's just a guideline for you to make it yours. And if you're not sure how to do that, but you think this part should work really well for you, just call me and I'll be happy to coach you on how to do it, because it is so super simple. And it works for people that don't know you as well. Okay? Now, you cannot talk about inviting without also talking about a three-way call. So, I mean, why a three-way call? Well, three-way calls bridge the gap between inexperience and experience. It brings an experienced upline on a call that can answer questions that the new market partner can't answer yet. And it's also a great training tool for the new market partner. It also validates your business, it validates the product, and it validates you. Now, the new market partner likes credibility with this business, and this is a tool that's going to help fill that void. I got to tell you guys, people who use three-way calling will have children with wealthy parents. Now, hope you got that. So how do you do a three-way call? That's also under resources in your back office. Again, not exactly sure how to do a three-way call? Then I'm happy to coach you on how to do that too. Put me to work. I want every single one of you to be a director. So using one of those approaches for inviting, and always do the three-way call, and I'm going to go back to here, and let them listen to that 3-minute high-level overview. You don't even have to know anything, and you can play that, and people will know. And by listening to that, they'll know if it's something that they would be interested in getting more information on. Now, your next step is your launch. Woohoo! Launching is super important this first part of March, right? Do you want people to merely start a business, or do you want them to launch a business? Now, you look at this definition of launch. How about that? Here's the best part. Burst out or plunge boldly into action. That's exactly what we want them to do with their business launch. We don't want them to just start a business. We want them to launch into their business. Guys, we are a relationship-driven business, and in person is the best way to build whenever possible. And you know what? If you're sitting there going, yeah, but everybody I know lives, I've just moved here, I've only lived here for a little while, I don't know that many people, whatever. You know what? If it's long distance, then use Skype or Hangout. Google Hangout's great, because with so much technology available to us today, and it's free, there's simply no excuse not to do everything in person, even if that means you're on a computer monitor, because you're still in person and they can see you. So use the technology that's available to you and do a Skype launch for some of your market partners. Let them know you're going to be there to support them, but you'll have to do it over the internet. And you know what? That duplicates. That duplicates better than being in person sometimes. So don't be afraid to do that. Now, here's an overview of your launch event. The settings should be just fun and casual. I mean, it could be in a home, it could be in a coffee shop or a wine bar. You decide where the launch is going to take place. It's kind of a cross between a happy hour, open house, and a ribbon cutting, okay? Now, what do you say at a launch? Well, use the Monat Opportunity Brochure as your guide when talking with a few people. If you got a larger event with a TV, you could use the Exploring the Possibilities presentation. That, too, is found in your back office, and it has the before and after pictures. It's a great resource. And the only thing you need are some products to display, the VIP brochures, the product brochures, and the business brochures, some samples, and just light refreshments. That's, again, use the KISS technique. Keep it super simple. Now, to prepare, let's go back to teaching them how to invite, because you know what? We can't assume that they're going to know how to do this. So it's smart to spend a few minutes on it. Matter of fact, if you talk to someone that go, my gosh, I've invited 10 people and they all tell me no, I would say don't invite anybody else. Let's role play. Tell me exactly how you're inviting them to make sure that they're not doing it wrong. It could be every time I've done that with people, they are barfing all over them. So you got to reel them in. And that's why I love that effective approach, because it gives them something to say, make sure they stay on target, and it's simple. Again, keep it super simple. Ask them who on their contact sheet would they want to come to their launch event. You know, based on what they know about them, have them come up with a personal invitation to their event, okay? Let me give you some examples. Here we go. Your launch, you want to prepare by inviting. You want to have them, let them know it's a personal invite is necessary. Have them make their list. And then what do they say? use the effective approach or the U, Y plus S equal OEQ, open-ended question. U plus story equal open, I get tongue-tied on that, open-ended question. All right, they say yes. You say, awesome, feel free to bring a friend, the more the merrier, because people normally don't like to attend an event by themselves, but if you let them know they can bring somebody, they'll be more apt to show up. And then you've got not one guest, but two. If they say that they can't make it, say, oh, you know what, no problem, but make an appointment right then and there to meet with them later in the week to do a one-on-one. And again, have them bring a friend with them to their one-on-one and let them know it's brief. You're not going to be there an hour or two, okay? And then you want to send them a reminder using their preferred method of communication. Just text them or call them, leave them a message, send them a Facebook message, whatever. Just say, you know, something as simple as, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night. I'll have a glass of wine and a sample waiting for you, okay? Now, we can all do that, right? Now, here's your homework. Of course, you want to do your 1+1 this week, and you're going to accomplish that by talking to 2 new people a day, 5 days a week. And you know what? If you want to build your business faster, don't talk to 2 new people a day, 5 days a week. Try to find 4 new people a day, 7 days a week, or, you know, 10 new people. If you go online in our Pacing Group Facebook page and see what Tony Van Schwick's doing, that will tell you why she's a senior executive director, because she's talking to more than 2 people a day. She's finding more than 2 leads per day, okay? So your homework is 1+1. Then you want to create 2 invites for people on your contact list. Do one using the effective approach and making it yours so that it's authentic. And then you want to make another one using the you plus the story plus the open-ended question. And then I want you to make those 2 phone calls to those 2 contacts using those 2 scripts, okay? And once you do that, I want you to post on the group just one of the results. Post on our Pacing Group Facebook page what you said, exactly what you said when you called with the invitation, and the result. So I know you're going to post the result that was the best one, and that's good. But post what you said and post the result, okay? And don't forget, if you get people who can't meet with you this week to do an interview with them, invite them to your launch or your relaunch. And you need to schedule that March 1st through 12th. Don't forget to follow all the protocol to do that. Look at your e-news blast for all that information. And then I look forward to seeing all these invites on the Facebook page. So that concludes tonight's webinar. I hope you guys have an amazing first week of the month. God bless, and talk to you soon.